in the early days of cancel culture, where there was a lot of focus on wanting to hold um, abusers accountable and wanting to have some kind of a means of addressing abuse, which is a serious problem. We came up with this idea of believe survivors, right? This idea that the correct way to handle accusations of abuse is always simply to just believe survivors, don't ask any questions, because if you do so, you're kind of acting like a defense attorney. You're putting the survivor in, a really uncomfortable position, having to defend what happened to her. And so I want, for those who don't know my work, I want to really emphasize that I'm a survivor. I'm an incest survivor. I'm a domestic violence survivor. Like, my entire life has been shaped through physical, sexual, and emotional violence. I have complex PTSD. Most of my work is about trauma. So, like, I take these issues very, very seriously. But I also want to say that part of having complex trauma, part of what it means, is that I have a literal disability in which I will have nervous system reactions in the present that are appropriate to situations that happened in my past. So I was abused as a child. And so sometimes I am in situations where I become triggered. I am hypervigilant and I feel like something really dangerous is happening, but it might not be. And what I need as a survivor is communities, friends, therapists, people in my life who can actually help me to discern the difference between a nervous system reaction like that and real actual abuse. And so, just to make this concrete, I made false accusations against an ex partner of mine where I accused my ex partner of being abusive when I was younger, maybe about a little over 10 years ago in my late 20s. And I did not do this maliciously. So I want people to understand that when I say that there are false accusations or overstated accusations, I'm not saying that every single person who does that is intentionally going out there to lie and to slander. When I accused my ex, I really wasn't intending to lie and to slander. But what had happened is I was in a polyamorous relationship. I have complex trauma. I was super dysregulated. I felt super flooded in my nervous system around my partner having other relationships. I also have an anxious, preoccupied attachment strategy, and my partner was avoidant. So there was a lot of normative conflict around polyamory and around different attachment styles in our relationship, where I often felt super dysregulated and I was not happy. And so when I left that relationship, I was like trying to make sense of what happened. And I was so triggered every single time I saw my partner, my ex partner, my nervous system would just flood with all of this like extreme stress response. And so when I told my friends about this, they were trying to be supportive, but they said, this nervous system response indicates that you were abused. And so I thought about that and I was like, wow, when I think about that and I imagine that my partner abused me, I
Yeah.
feel regulated because it actually makes me connect with my fight response, and it makes me feel okay. So I understand what happened. Something was done to me. And so that narrative felt really good. It felt really soothing and regulating. And so for a while, I was going around telling people my ex had emotionally abused me. And then fortunately, I have a therapist who is like really responsible and a trauma expert, and I've been with the same therapist for like 9 years. And she talked to me honestly and said, like, let's talk about what actually happened in that relationship. And there wasn't anything abusive that happened in that relationship. It was an unhappy relationship where my needs weren't being met. And it's like, that's okay. Like, it's okay that I left the relationship because it wasn't meeting my needs. But in fact, my partner was not threatening me, humiliating me, degrading me, coercing me, or in any other way abusing me. They were just
You're a really good
avoidant.
therapist.